my fellow comic book collectors, it's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the finale, part 10 of this unboxing, and it's going to be pretty cool. Just a small collection of books. Couple raw ones that I'll show you, and they're pretty cool. They're really cool. The first one completes a collection for me, a collection which is only 3 books, and it's from one artist who did the covers for 3 books, and that's it. He only did 3 covers, and it's Ekron. And this is Weird Horrors number 7, I believe. I forgot what issue number it is, something like that. But basically what it was this street artist. He had a booth. There was a fair. There was like a little, like market that was going on, a weekly market or something like that. And he was selling his art. And it just happened that the people from St. John, which included Matt Baker and a couple of the other head-ups at St. John, like the actual St. John guy himself, saw this artwork and were really stunned by it. And they thought, oh, these pieces that you'd create would make really great covers for our horror titles. And so what they did is they bought one piece from him, and they went back and they basically copied it, like they converted it to for the cover, and then they brought it back to him and just gave it back to him. And they repeated this process for three times, where they basically would buy one thing, not digitize it, but convert it to a cover, and then bring it back. It was only later that Ekron actually found out that his artwork had been used for the covers of St. John comics. And these are classic covers, just really crazy line work on these ones. Like this one has like a rooster and just this weird weird guy with the ring on his finger, and just it's a really awesome artwork. And so it was 3 books. This was the last one I needed to get. It's really cool. They're hard to find. These are incredibly hard to find. It's one that I've been every time I get a chance, I pick these up, like if I can. And I've only gotten the set now. So it's one of those things that you really have to jump on them in order to get them, because there's so many people that collect his artwork. So I was quite happy to finish that collection. Another thing that I've been trying to get for the longest time is I love my Disney characters. I grew up collecting comics that were Disney, primarily Disney comics, like Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck and Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Well, that last one, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, this is their first cover appearance. This is Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 4 from 1941. And this is where they make their first cover appearance. Now, this is a really pricey book generally, because it's early Walt Disney Comics and Stories, and it is their first cover appearance. Now, their first appearance happens earlier, but this is their first cover appearance. I actually have their first appearance as well, but I always feel like it's better to get it's cool to get that first cover appearance, because often once you get the book, you don't really open it up to look at that first appearance, but you generally will see the cover fairly often. So I always like having that first cover appearance. I like this one. It's a Christmas cover too, which also makes it fun. I always like Christmas covers. So Merry Christmas, Uncle Donald. Unca Donald. So yeah, just a great one. I was quite happy to get that. I'm always a little paranoid buying raw books from Heritage. This was a Heritage buy. And it was graded as a good plus. It looks like, from the front, it looks like it's graded correctly, which is good. Maybe it could even get a higher grade. I'd have to see what the back looks like, but I'm always a little paranoid with Heritage because sometimes I've gotten books where they say it's like a VG and it's like barely, barely there. So yeah, so I've had bad experiences, but this one fortunately looks like it's graded correctly. I generally will buy slabs from Heritage just because I know what I'm getting. This is another reason why I recommend, if you're a Golden Age collector, it's probably better to buy graded books. I know there's a lot of purists out there that like to have books that are, that they can open up and read, and I get it. I really do get it. But a lot of the time, especially with Golden Age, a lot of things can happen. Things can go missing, like centerfolds and stuff like that. Pieces can get cut out. They weren't as respectful to comics back then as they are now. So often coupons would be cut out, and sometimes people would do restoration. So a lot of things can happen over 80 years, right? So it's always best to buy graded books in general. So speaking of which, the rest of these books are graded books. I'm going to show you a book that was in my shopping cart on my comic shop for the longest time. And I was like, it was one of those ones where I felt like the price was just a little too high. And so I just left it in my cart and I was like, someday I'll check this book out. And then I just kept on delay. Well, it came up on Heritage. The one that was in my shopping cart, I believe, was a 5.0 or 5.5, somewhere around there. And the one that was on Heritage was a 7.5. Really nice copy. Presents beautifully. Good colors too. For Fiction House, again, with Fiction House, you got to be careful because a lot of the time the colors are faded. Oranges are more yellow. You don't really get that vibrant orange. Well, this has that vibrant orange, and it's like nice high grade copy. I got this for about $100 less than what the one was listed on my comic shop, so I was really happy. I like the bondage covers. I've been trying to get I pretty much have all the major bondage covers from Ranger Comics, and it's just a classic one with the girl all along the side there. And you got another cool thing with the Japanese guy getting wonked. It's just a great cover. What does it say? It says bondage cover, and it's a Joe Doolin cover from Fiction House 1946. So, yeah. Okay. This next one is another big book that I've been wanting for a long time. This is a classic cover, and it's one that, you got to pay up for. It's like a book that you don't necessarily, you can't get it cheap. But this one I got below FMV, so I was quite happy. I was actually like with any auction, there's that, like, especially when it's like Heritage, there's like that moment where the bidding stops and you're just waiting. You're just sort of watching the number, like there's like a little countdown, like 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're just worried. Oh, is somebody going to bid? Is somebody going to throw it off, and then I won't win the book? So it got right up to my limit, and I was just waiting. I was waiting for somebody else to bid because I kind of lowball bidded on this one, and the bidding just stopped, and then it went on to the next lot. I was like, oh. So nice. Now this one is fortunate because it's at the very end of the auction, so sometimes people kind of leave the auction and don't pay attention to the very last items. So this is Zoot, so Z is always at the end of the auction, but this is a classic cover. You got the girl in bondage, you got the snakes at the bottom, you got the little pygmy dude. It's like you got the other pygmy guys like tying her up in the back. It's just a classic cover. Now this is a Jack Keeman cover. It's a 5.0 blue label, and it's just a beautiful book. Just such, this one I really didn't think I would get such a high grade. I was actually looking for this book in lower grades because normally this really expensive book just goes for crazy money. People love their bondage covers, and this is a classic one. The snake pit, it's just it's just such a classic cover. I'll show you the back as well. Dick Tracy watch. So just a really cool book. I'm so excited to get this one. This one, yeah, such a good one. It's old slab, like from 1947. Not the slab, but the book. Yeah, old slab. I'm not sure if it could get pressed or cleaned or whatever and get higher grade. I think it's looks like the grade that it is. I wouldn't want to risk it. Okay, this next book I could have actually shown in the previous video because I was showing Precode horror books, and this is actually a classic Precode horror book. This is Chamber of Chills 18, and it's the Mad Barber. It's like you got this creepy guy with a messed up face, and he's like about to shave the guy's face, and I'm not sure where that razor is going. So yeah, it's you came to the right place for a shave and a haircut, and it's like this creepy guy. And it's got atomic bomb panels inside, and it's a Lee Elias cover. So he's like a classic Precode horror artist, and this is one of those classic covers. Now there is one Chamber of Chills, that's the big one, which is Chamber of Chills 19, which I already have, but these are kind of like the next level books to that big one. So definitely a cool one. It's quite excited to get it. Okay, I don't know why I like barber covers. It's the weirdest thing. Okay, this last book, it's kind of interesting. I found this list, and you know, I have books that were kind of like, or not books, of characters, of female characters, like all-time sexiest female characters, and it was like a list of 100 characters, and like it's like, you know, characters like Black Cat, Catwoman, Phoenix, you know, pretty much all the characters you can think of are on this list. And I kind of used it as a kind of a guide in a way to find all the female characters on the list, their first appearances. And one of the characters that's actually a pretty cool character that I wasn't familiar with, but I saw on this list, was a character called War Nurse. And War Nurse is a interesting character. She actually made a bunch of appearances in the Golden Age, has sort of disappeared from Comic Sense. I think she's public domain now. But I wanted to get her first appearance. But her first appearance is in a really rare comic, like low census count. However, somebody just happened to have one on eBay. And I've been looking for this book for about 3-4 years. So it's been a while. So this is Speed Comics number 13, and it's from Harvey Publications, 1941. It's Arthur Saranov. I don't know. I'm totally brutalizing his name. And Art Sharif art is the first appearance of Captain Freedom and the Young Defenders. But it's also, they didn't mention it on the label, it's also the first appearance of War Nurse. Now, War Nurse, as I said, isn't as major as these other characters, but it's the reason I bought this book. It's a character that, she's actually a pretty cool character. She's got like this, you know, she's wearing like the typical nurse hat with the cross on it, and she goes around like beating up bad guys. It's like, as you do. So yeah, it's like Speed Comics number 7, or 13, I should say. And the restoration on this book, it is restored, but finding this book, good luck. It's just a hard book to find. It's got white pages, by the way. Restoration includes small amount of glue on the cover, piece reattached to cover. Oh, that's actually really minor. Oh, I actually even see it. Wow. That is, it says slight C2, which is interesting, slight moderate. So the reason, okay, I'll show you the restoration. So you got the corner little piece up there that's been reattached. You got the glue that's gone all the way down there. Now, actually, even though it's C2, usually when you get into the moderate restoration, harder to, reverse. But this one actually could be removed because it's almost staining the book even. You'd lose that little piece probably, but it's just down this corner, and that could be removed. You can use solvents to remove the glue, and it probably wouldn't affect the grade even. Because it's a 3.0, you got a little bit of room to play. So, really great copy, actually. And I actually talked the guy down a lot on this book. I think he originally wanted 1,500, and I talked him down to about half. So I was quite happy with it. I looked at the fair market value. I said, oh, it's restored, and I kind of played that up a bit. The guy was being really, really nice to me, so I was like, oh, that's great, thanks. Because I wouldn't have been able to get this book if it wasn't for having the guy being a little bit willing to negotiate. So just a great book. Speed Comics number 13 from 1941. I mean, geez. So really early on. Just a great book. Introducing the thrilling adventures of Captain Freedom and the Wasp, the Hand, Ted Parrish, Crash Cork, and the Baron. Doesn't even mention Warner's, but she's in this book. I double checked. Okay, so that is it for this part. I hope you enjoyed the finale. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up on your way out, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel too. Okay, bye for now.